some projects with you. And we're gonna have fun with this one. These are all projects that are quick and easy, and I'm gonna estimate that all of them, well, each one takes less than 10 minutes to make. So sometimes you just want those instant gratification, fun, quick, easy projects. And so we're gonna actually make a bunch of them today. So because we have this time here and we are live, we're not just gonna make one 10-minute project, we're probably gonna do 3 or 4, and some of them might even be less than 10 minutes. But I'm also gonna teach you some techniques as well when we do this. I'm going to show you what to do with your memory wire scraps, because we're always talking about hanging on to all your its and bits. So any little bits of wire you have left over, memory wire, don't throw that stuff away. We can always use it. So we're going to be doing that. I'm going to show you how to do a messy wire wrap around a briolette pendant, which is a good skill to know as well. So we're going to combine quick, easy, under 10 minutes with also learning some new tips and tricks. And I see Kat is here. Hello, Kat. And I know we have Michelle and Eric in the background helping us today. So if I can't answer a question or I don't see it quick enough, sometimes the questions pop up on my screen really fast and go away and I can't catch them all. And then Michelle and Eric are great about doing that. So a couple quick notes before we begin. We are in the final stretch of our Memorial Day sale. We just wrapped up Memorial Day weekend, but we still have our Memorial Day sale on. So this is a great time to stock up on some stuff, get some really good savings. So that's really going to be fun because a lot of what you see in my show today is going to be on sale. And I see Ruth Alice is here and Denise is here. Hello. And Lisa is here. Oh my gosh, I saw a couple questions and I missed them. I'm so sorry. Piper, Sharon, hello. Susan, Elaine, Paulette. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm trying to catch these as they pop up. And I think I saw something about what's in my background. Yep, my background changed. We redecorated a little bit. This is a comic book art page back there. Okay, so let's flip the camera down. Don't forget, if you want to know anything about what you see on my table and you don't want me to wait to talk about it or Michelle to pop up the banner, there is that little shopping bag icon. You can click on that. It has everything that you will see in the show already loaded, so you can learn more about it. You can add it right to your shopping cart. You never leave me, you never leave the show. You're still part of it when you click around there. There is hi Mary from Holland, hello. And Debbie K is here, hello. A couple other quick notes. If you like what you see, there's a little heart. You can click on it, gives me little floaty hearts. There's a share icon, which is like a little arrow. So, and of course the all important comment section where you can comment and I can read them live and answer questions. All right, guys, I'm gonna flip my camera down so you can see what we're playing with today. So I have some mixes and I have some findings. We're gonna combine all of those guys together. Oh, hello, Hannah from Iceland. Okay, so let's first look at the mixes because they're just so yummy looking. My husband walked by as I was setting up the table here and he said, it looks like you have a candy factory going. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. It does look like I've got like little dishes of candy. All right, so I love this one. This one just reminds me of like a fruit basket, which I thought was really fun for summer, like that citrusy colors, the lime, a little bit of that coral pink. So we're going to play with this one today. I also have another very summery yellow one. I like the yellows a lot, and this has some leaves in it, which is really cool. So we'll dump this out in a little bit and see what we want to play with. But it does have flowers and leaves, which are perfect for spring and summer. So I love that. And then I've got this pink mix, and this one's a really big mix. This one has a ton of different beads in it. So we're gonna play with this one. Then I also have this purpley one with a little bit of coral, which is so interesting, that we will play with as well. And then I don't know if you guys have seen this because I don't know if I've highlighted it before. This is also a mix. You get all these strands as one mix, but it's kind of cool because instead of being loose, you get them in the long strands. So I think we're going to pick out a few colors here and play with them as well. All right, so those are our beads. Then what I brought over for just what we're going to do to create with them, I brought some memory wires. So here's what a full pack of memory wire looks like. It's 12 loops. I have some leftovers. These are from bracelets I've made. And so instead of tossing them, of course, I kept them. So we're going to make a really fun large scale, like a statement earring. It's very lightweight with that memory wire. Now I kind of did a half hoop here, and so you see when it hangs what it will look like. You can do a full loop if you want to make it a traditional hoop. I was going to kind of go with a little bit of a different style here where we're only doing like a half hoop, but you can do a full hoop with this technique as well. I've pulled out some wire, 24 gauge in silver and gold, and all of these are in that shopping bag if you want to see more specifics on them. And then, oh, hello, Santa Barbara girl. Good morning. I have a finished chain necklace. I think we're going to go ahead and turn this into a bar necklace. We're going to make a crystal bar with this one. I did pull out some charm chain. I just thought this was really fun and bobbly. We might use it, we might not. Again, it's we're just gonna have fun. We're just gonna create and see where inspiration takes us. And then if I move my camera over, you guys can see over here, I've got some findings. I can actually move this. I've got some findings down here too. So kind of your typical findings. And then I've got your basic tools. And the only tool here that's a little bit different than what we normally use is the memory wire cutter. So when you cut memory wire, of course, you have to use a memory wire cutter so you don't damage your normal cutters. Oh, that's so nice to hear. It's good to be here with you too, Santa Barbara girl. And hello, Moni. Good to see you too. Okay, here we go. Wire looping pliers, cutters, and 2 pairs of chain nose. Those are our basic tools. And then we're just adding this one kind of specialty tool into the mix here too when we work with the memory wire. All right, let's start playing, guys. So I want to start with this one because we do a lot of memory wire bracelets. I've done several different classes with memory wire bracelets, and we're always talking about, oh, you can make an earring with it. Don't throw away your scraps. But we've never actually made an earring during a live. Yes, my trusty tools. I love these tools. I really feel like unless I have to do like the memory wire cutters, I don't feel like I need any other tools besides these 4. All right, so what you're going to do is so this is leftover that I had. I'm going to cut about 3/4 of a loop here. So I'm just gonna cut this down a little bit more. So this is what I've got now. And I'm gonna turn the end the same way that I would turn any other memory wire end, although in this case, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this end into the round, so into the curve. Normally we always turn it away because we don't want it to kind of get on our wrist and poke. But in this case, I'm just gonna turn it so that we basically have a stopping point for our beads back here. So it's just a little loop. Oh, Mary, I have the looping pliers, but do not know how to use them. You will know how to use them by the end of this show, because I'm definitely going to be using them. I don't know if I can go a show without using them, guys. I love them. All right, so we've got that little loop right there. So I wanted to do this pink mix because I thought it was so pretty. Also, there's some leaves in here. So I'm going to dump this out right in front of me. And that wonderful sound of beads. Okay, so if we look at this mix, it has these cool little flower beads, but it also has these little leaves. And I thought that they would be really fun for a nice like hoop earring here. And so I'm going to put 3 of them towards the bottom. Okay, so here you can follow along with this pattern or just add whatever beads you like. These projects here that we're doing today are really kind of just fun and easy and anything goes. So just have fun playing. Yeah, the pink is really nice. This is a nice color and a nice mix of pink. You know, sometimes you get those pinks and they're a little bit on the harsh side. This is a very nice pink mix. Okay, so see, by turning that end right here, all my beads are stopping. Oh, good, Mary and Denise. Okay, all right, let's keep going. We're gonna have fun. So now what we're gonna do is I'm just adding beads, and there's a bunch of different shapes in here. I've got a little round right here. I just saw a little heart, I think. Did I just see that? I know there's a little heart in here somewhere. Where did it go? Oh my gosh. Well, I'll find the heart eventually. So there's little rounds. There's these little guys, which are like little cylinders almost. Okay, here you go. And we're just gonna keep adding. And then there's little faceted rounds and there's like little disc spacers. And so I'm just going to see what I did here because I started it on here. So see, just gonna add a couple beads and then a leaf and then a couple beads and then a leaf. Here's another little leaf. And it's going to be fun because gravity is going to have those leaves hang downward, which is really nice. So we don't have to worry about them and their positioning. And of course, when you are working with a bead mix, all the beads look really good together. So you're not having to kind of pick out which ones you think are going to match because you know they're all going to match, which is so nice. Okay, I'm going to do one more little leaf. Find one. They blend in. So here's that other little glass leaf. Okay, and then Michelle is saying, I wonder if you could do a multi-layer version of this. Oh, I'm sure you could, yeah. Well, and guys, this is pretty lightweight because the memory wire itself is not heavy. So, you know, we're always kind of keeping an eye out on the weight of earrings as, you know, we want them to be comfortable. We want to have them not pull our ear down. And these are nice and lightweight. So you could do a multi-layer version of these. You could do like another one that comes out here. There's a ring size memory wire. There's different, so kind of keep that in mind too. If you're thinking, oh, I'd like to make some memory wire earrings after making memory wire bracelets. There's different sizes of memory wire. So there's really a lot you can do here with this idea. Maybe add a little flower loop at the bottom. Ooh, that would be cute. We can do that. Let's play because we're here to play today. We're just here to have fun and play. Let's try adding a little dangle at the bottom. I brought some jump rings into the show as well. Kind of at the last minute, I added a few little jump rings. So we can add it with a little jump ring here, or we can just use a little head pin directly attached to it. Oh, and you know what? This is going to be a great opportunity, Mary, for me to show you how to use the wire looping pliers. Okay, perfect. Oh, and here's a little heart bead. I knew there was a little heart in here somewhere. Okay, so we'll do little flower dangles. That's a great idea. Okay, so I'm just going to keep adding and keep going until we are about, I always say, between 1/4 and 1/2 of an inch. Oh, I just found a new bead in this mix too. I didn't even know there was this like little bit darker pink faceted one. All right, so here we go. So we got this much here at the end, and that's about right. So now for this one, remember the bottom one I turned inward. This one I'm going to turn outward because it's going to be easier to attach a jump ring to it and then hang it from my hook. But you know what? If we're doing dangles, we could have done this downward too. So that would have worked as well. Okay, so same as if you're finishing a memory wire bracelet. We're just going to turn it. So you see you kind of got that little turn, and you could use round nose pliers. I think a lot of people use round nose pliers. I just find for myself, I like the grip I get with these Wubbers pliers. They're very strong, and it's just easier for me to grip onto that memory wire without it slipping. Okay, so there is our finished earring, but let's add some dangles. And I love these. I'd like to add these because I think these are just the cutest little drops. So we are going to start by taking let me find a bead first. I'm going to put a little bead on the base of this so that we create a little flower dangle. So here we're just going to put a bead on, and now we're going to put this. So there's a little dangle. So what you're going to do, and Mary, I'm going to show you how to do a wrapped wire loop and a simple wire loop. So if we wanted to do just a simple wire loop, we would just go ahead and grab it. Then you want a little bit of air right there between where it exits the bead and where your plier head is. And you just squeeze. So when you squeeze, it kind of does half the work for you. You can kind of see it makes that nice curve. And then you just push this down, rotate it up, crisscross. So you just pull that wire with your other hand. Yes, we're making earrings and we're going to make a necklace too. I don't know. I'm having fun with the memory wire. I might want to just keep making memory wire. Okay, so here is the start of the simple wire loop. And then what you just do is you trim it. So there is a simple wire loop using the wire looping pliers. And then you can just kind of straighten it up as needed. And then let's show you how to make a wrapped wire loop. All right, so I'm just gonna find another bead to put on the bottom. Here's another one of those pretty dark pink ones. And we're gonna put this on here. So we've got that. Yeah, we're doing, so this is what you can do with your leftover scraps of memory wire. So, and you can make this a full hoop too. I did a little half hoop, but you can definitely make it a full hoop too. All right, so here's going to be half a bracelet, yeah. Well, we're always looking like, because you always end up with those scraps. So it's fun to find a way to use them. Okay, so if you're going to do a wrapped wire loop, you're gonna leave a little bit more space from where the bead exits to where your plier head or plier nose is. Same start to the process. Just gave it a squeeze, rotated it up. But now what you're going to do is instead of trimming that tail right there, you're gonna just grab the loop with your pliers. Some people keep it in their wire looping pliers. I like to just take a chain nose, and then you just take your fingers and you wind the wire tail around the core there. So you've got a couple wraps. Ooh, I think you're right, Santa Barbara girl. You could actually make the half bracelet and add chains or leather around the rest. Absolutely, you can make the memory wire part the focal and then finish it off from there. Okay, so we trimmed, but we got a little tail sticking out. So we just do what we call tuck our tails, and that's just squishing it in. Okay, so there is a wrapped wire loop using the pliers. Okay, so to attach these, I have a couple little jump rings right here, so we can definitely just open a little 4mm jump ring. I'm gonna open this. And we can just, we never put an earring hook on that other one. We can just take this, put it with that little loop, put one of these guys on, and close it on up. And that could easily make a little dangle to hang off of your earring. I like the idea of a little dangle. That's super cute. So quick and easy and a great way to use up those memory wire scraps. Oh, good, Mary, definitely try. Just it takes a little practice. You'll get the hang of it eventually. Just you can even use like some craft wire or something if you want for practice so you don't use up your head pins. So that's, we can just finish this one the same way. So we're just going to open a jump ring. Now I have to ask you guys, I was going to do a bar design for the necklace. Do you guys want to use a memory wire focal, or do you want to use, so let me show you, let me finish this and then I'll show you what I mean. And then we can talk about if we want to make it using wire or memory wire, because it's a little different how we would do it. Okay. And then we just attach an earring. Quick and easy. Oh, we can't attach an earring until we attach a jump ring. Okay, so construction wise, if you look at it, both loops are going the same way right here. So it wouldn't make sense to latch it like that. So what we have to do is we have to add a little jump ring. Okay, so here we go. So got that earring on there. Okay, and this show, for those of you who are just joining us, is quick and easy jewelry, under 10-minute designs. So things that you can do just that are fun and easy. And we're using some really great mixes and blends too, which makes life very nice and easy too. Okay, so I'm gonna put those guys up there. All right, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to do a necklace design with a focal using one of these mixes. So let me just kind of move this aside. Okay, so I've got this chain, right? It's a pre-made chain, and you can do this with any pre-made chain. I'm going to do my little trick where I cut it in the middle so that I've got my clasp already attached, and then we can add a focal. And what we can do is we can take some more of the memory wire scraps, and we can make a focal for this necklace out of memory wire, kind of like a U shape if we wanted to. Or we can take wire and add beads to it and make like a bar, like a section of a bar. Oh, okay. So Michelle just let us know that the wire looping pliers just sold out. I think there's a way of signing up so that you can be notified when they get back. And I see Sue is saying wire, please. You got it. Okay, so this is a great technique. I love doing this. We just got to pick what we're going to do it with. We can do a crystal bar. That could be really fun. Let's use some of these sparkling crystals. That would be really pretty. Okay, I'm going to put this pink away for right now so my table's a little cleaner. You guys are going to see the wire looping pliers in action again. So if you have them already, you know, and have any questions, let me know. And then if you've been wanting them, definitely sign up for that notifier. Okay, so what we're going to do, beads everywhere, so many beads. Okay, crystal bar, yes. Okay, great, Piper. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way down. So I'm just holding it at the top where the clasp is, and we're going to find the middle link, and we're just going to cut it. Now, at this point, you can also cut some of this length off if you want a shorter necklace. Okay. Oh, good, Sharon. I'm glad you love them. Oh, they're my favorite. Okay. So here we go. So now this is what it looks like. Our necklace is cut open. We have the clasp at the back, and we've got these two even sides right here. So what we want to do is we're going to create a crystal bar necklace. So I'm going to pick out what color I want, or colors. Maybe I will do, I could do like 3 colors here, like some really pretty blues, because it's going to go with the gold. Or just maybe these 2 blues are pretty rich looking. Those are pretty nice. And they come in this mix, which is nice. Okay, so I'm going to cut this open. So I've got my strand right here. And we might have to make a pair of matching earrings is what I'm thinking too. These are so sparkly. Okay, so to make a bar, it's so easy. So you're just going to cut some wire. We're going to cut about 4 inches of wire. So we're just going to cut it right off the spool. And what we want to do is kind of just straighten it out with our fingers. And we're going to go up here with the wire looping pliers. Now, for those who don't have the wire looping pliers or would rather use round nose, totally 100% okay. And so what you're going to do is you are going to create a loop on the end. So we're going to go about 1 inch from the end. And for us using the wire looping pliers, we're just going to squeeze and rotate down, up, crisscross. Okay, so this is what we've got thus far. And now we're going to go in with our chain nose pliers and open up that loop a little bit. Take the end cut piece of chain from our necklace, what was our finished chain necklace, because imagine how much extra time it would take you to just buy, cut chain and then have to add your clasp. I love it that the clasp is already there and ready to go for us. All right, so if you can see that, the chain is now in the loop. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of pinch that loop shut, and we're going to do a couple wraps. So I'm holding it with the chain nose pliers, the loop, and we're going to rotate. Not rotate, we're going to twist around. I got distracted. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but my dishwasher is beeping. There's a garbage truck outside. There's just a lot of sounds happening. Okay, so this is what we've got thus far. And because we have done those wraps, we know that the chain is thoroughly trapped in there. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to slip out. It is secure. And then I just tucked my end. I'm going to see if I can get a little more light happening here. Okay, so this is what we've got thus far. And now we're just going to put whatever beads we want onto it. So I'm going to do 3 of the dark blue, but you do whatever you like, whatever pattern. Because this, again, is another technique that can be adapted so easily to any beads that you want. Okay. So this is our crystal bar right here. And so now we need to just finish it. Yes, you definitely can make different size loops with the pliers. I can show you in just a minute. I'll finish this necklace and then I'll show you how to do different size loops. Okay, so here we are. You see there's that little bit of air right there. And what we're gonna do is just bend it, flip it down, crisscross. And now we're going to open this one up a little bit just so that we can get into that loop with the other chain. And we're just going to find the end chain link, slip it on in there, pinch that loop shut, and now do our wraps. If you did 3 wraps on this side and 3 wraps on this side, it should look nice and even. That's just kind of a thing to kind of keep in mind. Is it's nice if you are consistent with the number of wraps you do within a design. It just gives it a little bit more of a finished look. We're done. How easy was that? Look at that little necklace. And imagine you could do that in a rainbow design. You can do that any color you like. But really quick, very easy to do, especially when you start with a finished chain necklace and you just add that focal in there. All right, and remember, this was all part of this mix. This was a crystal mix, so I got a lot of different colors. Okay, let's look at the wire looping pliers to make different size loops, because you definitely can. Where did my gold go? I think gold just shows up a little bit easier on camera for showing what we're doing. Okay, so let's just cut a piece off and we're going to show how to do different size loop. Okay, so if you want a smaller loop, you're going to go towards the tip for your wire placement. So we're just going to go right here. Kind of, if you can see that, I'm up near the tip of it. And we're just going to squeeze, push down, crisscross. Nothing changes for the technique here. Got that little loop right there, and then we can go ahead and do some wraps. Okay, and trim it. And you get so used to this. Like, the more you do this, it just becomes like second nature. Okay, so there was a small loop made with the pliers. Now we're going to do a larger loop with the same pliers. Okay, another little bit of wire. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to position it back towards the handle. Oh, thank you, Piper. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to slip this in here, and we're going to go further back. So you see how that's just kind of towards the back now. Same technique. You can see when I squeezed, this kind of pushed forward a little bit. We're going to go down and rotate up. Now, the one thing I just realized, I should have left a longer tail because the loop itself is eating up more of my wire. So let's see if I have enough here to do some wraps. So in this case, because it's such a bigger loop, I am grabbing it towards the bottom here where it crosses. So I've got a better grip on it. So great question, Mary. Can you use all gauges of wire? No, there is like you can do the standard gauges like 22, 24, 26, 28. There is, I think, a limitation. I just don't remember what it is. So Michelle, can you see the product listing for those and let me know if it says for recommended wire gauges? Because I do know that at some point wire becomes too thick for them. Okay, so we got our little comparison right here. Same pliers, two very, very different size loops here. So yes, so if you, for the bar, so I used a 24 gauge. Great question, Mary B. 24 gauge is going to be a little bit on the soft side, so you're going to have to be a little bit more delicate with it. It still holds, actually. But if you want it to be a super stiff bar, a 22 or a 20 gauge would be good. Daisy is saying an 18 gauge might not fit those crystals. I think you are right. I think if I was to, I had this on my table as kind of the general use. If I was to make this, like let's say I want to make a bunch of them, or was just going to choose whichever wire I thought would be ideal, probably a 22 gauge would be perfect. I rarely use a 20 gauge. It's a little stiff for me, but 22 would be perfect. Oh, hi. Okay. Hi, LJ. Okay. So good question. So, and really good observations as well. Okay. So we just made the little bar necklace. And for anyone joining us, this show will be available to watch again later on replay. Just as soon as the show ends, you can then go rewatch the replay. But we just made a little crystal bar necklace. We've made some memory wire hoop earrings, which were fun with a little dangle on them. We've talked a lot about wire looping pliers, which is great. Okay, here we go. So now, Julie, have you tried duckbill pliers? Ooh, oh, I missed the rest of your comments. You know what? I haven't worked with duckbill. I think I just get so used to the ones that I'm used to that I tend to not deviate. But I think now I'll try some duckbill pliers. That sounds like a great idea. All right, and then I know Michelle is saying that you can use up to 18 gauge wire with these pliers. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, let's design. I really want to play with this mix. I think this is the cutest mix ever. All right, so here we go. This is what this looks like. You can see all these colors. They're just such wonderful colors. And if you're vintagey like me, you love these colors too. Now these big beads are interesting. They've got a side hole in them, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use them. Tutti Frutti colors. Yes, that's exactly what they are. They're very Tutti Frutti. Okay, I'm going to dump this out so I can see. Now, when you do have a mix and you are picking out your beads, if you're going to make like earrings, I always pick out my beads first for both pairs of earrings to make sure I have matching beads. Like I love this bead here, but my mix only had one of it. So I'm not going to be able to use it for an earring, but I can use it for something else. This is cool. I do like this. Maybe we wire wrap that and have it hang from these little green guys. I just want to use all the Tutti Frutti colors, and then maybe we'll do that. So this is going to be our earring right here. So silver or gold, guys. My instinct is gold, but I'm a gold person. I always like gold. Do you guys want silver or gold for this? Because I have everything we need for both. Yeah, they're very cute flat drop beads. Yeah, they're very sweet. I like them. I like that there's two tones. Gold. Okay, gold. You got it. So let's do gold. So we're going to start by wire wrapping. I'm glad you guys are saying gold. Okay. So we're going to start by cutting 3 to 4 inches. So we're going to do 3 to 4 inches and we're going to put it through the hole. So now you can really see where that hole is on these guys. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about 1 inch through one end and have the remaining coming out the other. I'm going to bring them both to the top and we're going to crisscross. So it's almost like we've made a little X above the top. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the shorter end one and bend it upright. So now we have one sticking up and one off to the side. And we're going to go in with our pliers. And I know, guys, I love my wire looping pliers. You can do this with round nose pliers too if that's your preference. So always kind of keep that in mind. If you don't have wire looping pliers, you could definitely do this with round nose. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is create a loop. So here we go. And then we're going to take this, bend it down. And so at this point, if you look at it, we've created like a figure 8 with the wire. So there's a big loop essentially going through that bead. And now there's a loop up top because what we need to do is create a way to attach this to our earring. or make it as part of our earring. So now I'm going to grab my loop, and with the short end, I'm going to wrap. And I don't need to do more than one wrap or so on here. I just need it to be secure for that loop. So there we go. So you see we got that wrap right there. And we're going to go in there and carefully cut our end, but not cut the long piece because we haven't dealt with that yet. Okay. I always do like to tuck my ends as I go if I can. Okay, so now we've got this one end sticking out. So to secure this, we're just going to go ahead. Might be easier to not even hold it there. Let me just try doing this with my hands. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap it around a few times. Okay, and then trim it. And now we've got a nice loop waiting for us so we can attach it to the rest of our design. So to make this, now let's see, I can either do, well, we'll just do wrapped wire loops. I was going to say I can make my own little eye pins or just do wrapped wire loops. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead, come in here, doot. Open this up, slip it on. Okay, I can already tell I'm going to really like these earrings. This mix is so pretty. Okay, a couple wraps. And trim. And tuck. And now we can add our beads. And now the question is, I don't know if I just want to add this straight, or I kind of maybe want to put one of these like cranberry beads below it. So it's like almost a bead cap on top of it. Yeah, I think that's cute. Okay, so we've got that. And now we're going to do another loop right where it exits. And you could be using eye pins at this point too. If you don't want to do like wire and all these loops, you can definitely do eye pins. Okay, trim it, tuck it. Okay, last one, and then we'll be able to attach our earring. But this is what we've got so far for this little earring. And we're just going to do one of these really pretty, I don't even know what to call this color. It's kind of like a golden orange. It's a really pretty color. Okay. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. And here we go. Yes, and Michelle is saying if you have head pins, you can make them into eye pins. They're so true. That's one of my favorite things. I never tend to buy eye pins. I just have my head pins and then I convert them into eye pins when I need an eye pin. I don't know why. I think I've been like that since forever. Tangerine, goldenrod. Okay, those are both really good names for it. Okay, and tuck. And we'll put that beautiful color on there. And we've made a really pretty little dangly earring. Mustard. Mustard's yes. Good name calling, guys. Good idea. Okay. And we're just going to do this last little loop and we'll just attach an earring hook. Super simple. Okay. And tuck. And then what we want to do is just kind of a little quick tip is if you have a bead like this, there is a side view and then there's a front view with the flat part of it. Just make sure, since this is how the earring hook is going to attach right here, so this loop is going to be facing this way. In this case, it's fine and the flat part is facing forward. If it had been facing like this, you'll want to just twist your loop a little bit so that it faces forward. Okay, and then we're just going to go take an earring hook. These are kind of my go-to earring hooks. They're a really nice size and they stay in the ear. Okay, slip that on, close it on up, and we have a really pretty tutti frutti earring. such a fun mix. Very easy to do, and I hope that helped with a kind of a tip on how to use these side drilled beads. It's not hard to be able to create a little loop up top, so you can start to use them into designs. All right, I love that mix. That's definitely my favorite one on the table here. All right, I'm going to show one more design, and then I think we're going to call it a day for these quick and easy projects. So we just saw how to do a loop for a side drilled bead, right? And it's nice and neat. But I also really like doing kind of bird's nesty, messy wraps. So I want to show you how to do that. And I think I'm going to even combine it with this mix here, because I was looking at this color that I have of the crystal, and it goes really well with this mix. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to spread this one out. And this is an interesting mix because it's got these like pinky coral beads mixed with the purple. And this one even has some nice flower drops too. It's just kind of a cool mix. Okay, so I pre-made one, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And then we'll construct it into an earring. All right, so in this case, if you're going to do a messy wrap, like a messy wire wrap, you want to give yourself enough wire to do all that. So I'm going to cut about 12 inches of wire. And when you buy a spool, you get 36 feet in this case, so you have a lot to work with. Okay, so to do this, we're going to start out kind of how we started out the other one. So we're just going to go ahead and put this through, and we're going to have one long tail, one short tail. I have about 1.5 inches coming out through here, so I'm just going to be fine with that. Again, bring them up, crisscross. Then for your short one, bring it up so that it's sticking upright. And then we're going to create a loop. So again, we're just really starting out the same way here. Okay. And then we've made a little loop. We're going to attach this with either a jump ring or a simple wire loop. Probably, so I'm not worried. I am going to finish my loop here. I want my loop intact, so I'm not going to try to open it or anything. Okay, I'm just going to do that a little bit around it. Daisy's saying, I can't do the messy wrap. Now, can you say you can't do it because it's just not a style you like, or is it just frustrating to try to do it? Yeah, because I know it's a definite look. Like this, if you're someone who likes things more tailored, this is very frustrating to look at. And I totally acknowledge that. There's times when I love the messy wrap, and there's times where I really don't like the messy wrap. Okay, but if you want to learn how to do a messy wrap, I'm going to show you how to do a messy wrap right here. Okay, so we've got our little loop. We've got our long tail, and again, I'm just going to do this with my fingers. I'm going to put the pliers down, which is why making briolette drops drives me nuts. Yeah, I totally hear you. I totally get it. One thing I do like about doing messy wraps is I find them a little bit freeing because you're not trying to make it look perfect by any means. You're actually trying to make it look messy. So what you're going to do in that case is you want to keep your little loop towards the top, sticking up from your pendant, and then you're just going to start to do some wraps. And you're not trying to make them perfect by any stretch of the imagination. So there's gaps. You see how there's gaps there? I get it, Daisy. I totally get it. And then I always try to make my messy wraps match, which is the opposite of what a messy wrap is. Okay, but to show you how to do this, because this is a jewelry technique that I do see in a lot of jewelry, I want to show you guys how. Yes, gaps. There's lots of gaps. And Michelle just had a really great reminder that we are having our up to 70% off Memorial Day sale right now. So this is a great time if you want to try something new or a bead mix. Okay, so here I've got those gaps in there. And now I'm actually going to bring my wire up diagonally, go around the main stem again and back down. So I am actually just making this like a messy bird's nest. But what I want to keep in mind, the only thing I'm trying to keep in mind is that my loop is up top here. Yeah, I get it, Moni. I totally get it. Okay, so I'm just doing this and I'm going up and around and over and back and forth and up and down. And you want it to be, I think the thing with messy wraps, if you do messy wraps, you want them to definitely look messy on purpose, if that makes sense. You don't want it to look like it was supposed to be a neat and tidy wrap that ended up accidentally messy. So I feel like when I do messy wraps, I really try to go over the top to make sure that they look bird's nesty. Oh, and Benita is saying, I love messy wraps. I like making messy wrap beads as connectors. Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. I think that it's fun that there are two definite sides to this where you either kind of love them or they drive you nuts. All right, so after you've done all of that, so see all that bird's nesting, I went up towards the top again, the stem, and then I'm just gonna give it another little wrap right there. And then I'm gonna carefully trim. And I say carefully because it's kind of hard to see where your tail is. And then you do still wanna tuck your end in though, because you don't wanna get poked. Okay, so here is a very messy wrap. And now what I'm gonna do is I've got two now. I'm gonna make a pretty little earring using this purple mix. So I'm gonna, again, find what beads I wanna use before I actually do the construction to make sure that I have enough matching ones, since this is a mix. So I love this color purple right here. It's kind of a darker, or not darker, it's a more vibrant one. And then here's like a darker one to match the briolette. I don't know, I do love this little coral one too. I'm gonna put the coral one in there as well. So I know Michelle had talked about creating your own eye pins, from head pins. So let's go ahead and do that because it's another fun technique to show. So I have some head pins and I need eye pins. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the head off, kind of grab it so it doesn't fly across your room. And now I'm gonna turn this into an eye pin. So I'm just gonna go with my wire looping pliers up towards the top. You can see that. And I'm just gonna basically rotate it, make like a little roll. But here's the thing is, if you just roll it, it's off to one side. So you have to kick it back. So what you do is you put your plier in there and then you bend this wire against the edge of your nose right here, the concave side. And then what that does is it gives you a centered eye pin. So we're gonna do that and we're just gonna make little links. So we're gonna put this little bead on here, and we're gonna create a simple wire loop on the other side, crisscross. Okay, put that down there. We're gonna do this with a couple different beads here. So we have some little dangly earrings. And after I just said, hold on to that end so it doesn't fly across the room. I just flew across the room. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I really love this purple. Okay. So I have a little kink here. I got a little kink in that one. I'm gonna try to straighten it out so my bead will go onto it. So let's just see if I can do that. Yep. So if you end up with a little kink, oops, sorry guys. If you end up with a little kink, just take your plier and kind of try to straighten it out. It should straighten out. You should be able to slide that bead on. Okay, down, rotate, crisscross, and trim. And then one more, and then we'll be ready to construct our earring. And this one was going to be the darker up top to balance the darker purple at the bottom. All right. Okay, so to connect these all together, so easy. We are just going to open up our loops. So just open up that little loop. You can kind of just see I'm just twisting it to the side a little. We're gonna slip on our little messy pendant. Close that loop back up. Now I'm gonna make sure that this loop is nice and closed because I'm gonna open the next one to attach to it. And then what we can do is open this one, slide on that loop. And of course you could use jump rings too. I kind of like connecting just via their little loops, but you could also use jump rings. And then this is the last one, so then we'll just add an earring hook. So here we go. And so nice, the earring hooks have little loops for us to open and close. There we go. And that's using that purple mix with that pretty little briolette pendant that we messy wrapped. So another style, so we made a couple earrings. Actually, we've made 3 earrings and a necklace. So just to recap, so here we've got this earring here is long and dangly with the messy wrap. We've got this one here, which this is my favorite. I have to admit, I love the Tutti Frutti and I love kind of the vintagey colors. And then we did something with our memory wire scraps. So if you're looking to do something with your memory wire scraps, now you could have also made this into a necklace focal. So you would just create it the same way and then hang your chain from the loops. So that would be really easy. And then a bar necklace right here. And if you missed any of this, you can always go back and rewatch the replay for sure. So here's a little bar necklace using beads from that crystal bead mix. All right, guys, I'm gonna pop up my camera so I could say goodbye. All right. There we go. Oh, I'm sideways. Thank you everyone for joining me. This has been so much fun. I hope you enjoyed the techniques. I hope I was able to answer all your questions. We have an excellent team here, so if any other questions come up, please reach out. Michelle is letting us know if you have items in your cart, please remember to check out. So I know some quantities are getting limited, especially with the lives and the sale. So if you have something in your cart, make sure you check out, please, and get it at a discount too. Great time. Oh, LJ, thank you, and Mary and Moni, Santa Barbara girl. Can you use the scraps of memory wire for making? Oh, I missed the last part of that. I think it was for a tiny earring. Absolutely. Thank you, Piper and Denise and Benita. All right, guys, take care. Have a great rest of the week. Bye.